All right, so let me touch on the topic of the 14 Palestinian groups who went to Beijing for this Beijing plan, and how so many people and organizations and media, especially in the alternative media, making it sound like it's the greatest thing since sliced bread. But I'm completely and utterly in opposition of that. The PIJ, which is one of the 14 groups, is the one that's speaking logically and rationally. I've put comments about how I feel that China is wrong in their support of the PLO, the Palestinian Liberation Organization. I'm in complete and utter disagreement with China and Russia, who capitulated in accepting the state of Israel. It was a complete and utter betrayal of the Palestinians. Mao Zedong, however, had the proper right, moral, ethical, and every other form of true understanding. Mao was against accepting the pressure and coercion. He backed Palestine. He said that Israel does not Israel does not have any right to exist, and so on and so forth. And that changed with I think Deng Xiaoping, or maybe even a little bit earlier. But I'm pretty sure it's Deng Xiaoping. I don't. But there's you could say, well, the vast majority of the UN agreed. But the thing is here's the problem with the UN. There were three colonial powers who have veto power. Three. There are only two permanent members who are not of the colonial powers. So, do the math. If you can veto, and it's 3 against 2, right, then who actually does that benefit? It's simple. 3 is larger than 2. So, as I was talking about the PIJ, they spoke about that. They don't accept the recognition. They won't accept recognition of Israel. While everybody else, including Hamas, basically, gave a thumbs up. So I am, however, still somewhat disappointed with the PIJ, because even though the top spokesperson pointed out the illegitimacy of recognizing Israel as a state, and still partially capitulated to this Beijing plan or agreement or whatever the hell it is. So, I was watching Breakthrough News, and Breakthrough News has a section called the China Report with Kei Jino and Amanda Yi, and they were talking about this. The thing is I like KJ, I like Amanda, but it's like the U.S. media is right. U.S. and Western media is right about one thing. And it simply comes down to the point that they have control in the UN. U.S. can veto any resolutions, even though the vast majority of the UN can agree with China or Russia, but they can veto it and basically stonewall it. Now, this is why I've said before, both China and Russia and all these other countries who keep getting screwed over, should simply leave the UN. Simply leave the UN. Leaving it just for the criminal neo-colonial West and the compradors around the world. Just leave it to them. Start your own and take the UN is in fucking New York. The colonial genocide and atrocity and chaos maker around the world. All of the so-called international institutions and bodies, they were all devised and created by the colonial West. So obviously they put that together. Never mind the fact that supposedly by the charter of the UN, they name all these things that are supposed to be. Yet the colonial West can go just completely ignore and deny this and keep doing, and they keep getting away with it. So I find all these international so-called bodies an utter farce. It's less than a joke. It's less than a joke. It's sadistic. So politics is basically ignoring laws. It's favoring yourself. It's just malevolent and sadistic. So the point of the matter is the KGNO is talking about it, talking about the how off and how they're framing it wrong and how they don't. No, what the problem is KJ doesn't understand, nor does Amanda, nor does a lot of these people that supposedly journalists and reporters and know history and so on. The plain fact of the matter is, it denies reality. I want brutal truth. And the brutal truth must start with you individually. And so it's ignoring or revising history. It's denial. It's just wrong. There is no morals or ethics or it's even on a religious front. It denies all the things that are supposed to be the good parts of religion, of love and truth and all that other stuff. It's a denial. And so, it's and if you take the parts about how they describe evil and malevolence and maliciousness and sin and criminality, the plain fact of the matter is, that's what the West does. It emulates every possible thing that is considered to be sin and crime. And for China and Russia and all those who talk about, being good and wanting to do the right and looking for peace, they basically capitulate and accept evil. And Israel should never been allowed to be established. And if you want to go even further, United States shouldn't have been accepted as a state, nor should Australia, nor should any of the areas around the world, which became colonial possessions, where they repress, suppress, murder, and create chaos and do atrocities, and I mentioned this as the idea that South Africa ended apartheid. That's bullshit. That is utter bullshit. You got a little colonial white European who call themselves South Africans, except the way he talks, the way he expresses, certainly keeps the concept of apartheid alive. And then you have all these compradors with black faces and black bodies who do that. When there's physical evidence, like I think I talked about this before. It's like how there's this a thin tree line which separates what looks like wouldn't be out of place in suburban United States or in Western Europe, okay, or Europe, so-called developed countries, and then on the other side of that thin tree line that you can just step right over, all it is just bare dirt and all these little cobbled together shacks. And there's no infrastructure, no water, no electricity, no roads, no nothing. And all these black Africans are there, and the only thing that's is they're dressed in westernized clothing, but that's it. There's nothing. And this is more common in South Africa than South. Most of the business in South Africa, okay, like 70 or 80%, is owned by fucking the apartheid whites. The land, 70 or more percent, is owned by the European whites. And their fucking descendants. They have I think it's the 1990s or something like that. They established I forget the name of that friggin' town, where it's basically whites only. Cape Town is another version. With maybe a sprinkling of black faces and bodies. It's fucking horrendous. It's this. It's deception. It's sin. It's criminal. Left and right. I'm fucking sick of it. I'm fucking sick of it. It's and I don't want to hear people talking about, I value, my values are moral and ethical and all. I want peace, love, freedom, liberty. that I cherish my neighbors, I cherish my community, I cherish my children, I cherish my friends. You know, I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear that. You can say whatever the fuck you want, but if your fucking actions are to ignore it, if your fucking actions is to buy the sinful criminal utter nonsense, and you go generation by generation believing in this fucking ignorance, right, which is trickled down and ingrained and embedded into, you know what? And if you don't want to take the time to clear out the cobwebs of your ignorance, okay, if you are willfully ignorant against it, and you know what? Fuck off. Fuck off. Fuck off.